Welcome back, world, to round 2 of the Cannington Challenge from January. Coming at you not live from Perth to Earth, and I am joined by one of the people who will be featuring in this match, Jared.
G'day, y'all. I think we're likely to have multiple challenges at Cannington in January, but this was on the 15th, I believe.
No, it's one per month per store.
Is it?
But anyway.
Oh, okay. Well, we might have a cup too anyway.
Yes.
But regardless, yeah, this is round 2. I'm versing Mr. Dan Baguley, who is running an absolutely highness Trick Room Cali Ice team with Scarf Ape to support it. He's got Sash, Follow Me, Spore, Decorate Smeargle to basically turn either the Blood Moon or the Cali Ice into a wrecking ball, and he's got Feint on Travis Scott the Electabuzz there as well, so that nobody can stall out his Trick Room.
I feel like he's going to complain about being called Highness rather than Heinous, because he's going to be like, this is glazing again, which is something that we tend to do with Mr. Dan.
What even is glazing?
Talking him up, promoting him in an embarrassing way to make him appear greater than he is, I guess. But he is pretty damn great. I don't know. That's a bad description.
I feel like that's just talking up your mates, you know?
Yeah, but doing it in like a
Look, it is a lot
exaggerative way.
Like setting them up to disappoint.
Yeah.
Okay.
More setting him up for embarrassment, because embarrassing Dan is very funny. But will he be embarrassed this time? Both players locked in their teams pretty quickly. Jared, very unlike you to just immediately lock in.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot more very straightforward teams with game plans that are kind of just evident to me from the get-go, so I don't have to sit and think so much. Honestly, a lot of the reason why I take so long to lock in is because I'm chatting to the person next to me and I don't look at my Switch. But against Dan's team, like, there's only really one lead that I'm going for, because my only Trick Room answer is to hope that I can blow up the lead and stop it. Like, I've got Taunt on Fluttermane, which has helped me out in the previous round, but as you will see in a second, it struggles to stop the combination of Fake Out, Follow Me, Smeargle with a very bulky Trick Room setter that I can't easily KO with spread moves with these mons.
A very well-named Smeagol there as well, but we should talk about the Fluttermane Farterman, a little bit of Perth lore that we won't dive too much into during this stream. But I
don't see why not. Why shouldn't we?
Well, we might get to it in between rounds. I think a pretty standard expected turn 1 here. Obviously, Dark Pulse is going to go into the Smeagol. The Taunt's kind of necessary here because it's a Smeagol. Trick Room was evident. There was no real way for you to stop that going up. What are you thinking here? Like, turn 1, you knew how it was going to play out, but what are you thinking now? You've got 4 turns to try and get through this.
Yeah, so I've got 4 turns to get through Trick Room and 6 basically hyper offense mons. If I can't prevent Trick Room from going up in this matchup, basically my only hope is to position and survive long enough to wait it out and then somehow sweep through his team with the likely 1 mon that I've got left afterwards. But I brought this team knowing full well that if somebody had a really well fortified Trick Room lead, it kind of just hard lost to it, and this is kind of that outcome, especially if there's Feint. So I can't, like, that's like protecting and stalling through Trick Room is the one thing that I can possibly do to get through this, which Flutter can still do because it's a ghost type, but against the offensive monster that is this horse, look at that, it doesn't even take half from a modest Chi-Yu Dark Pulse.
And it did the same amount of damage back to you with Glacial Lance, resisted and spread. We know that Chi-Yu's not very bulky, but that is still an absurd amount of damage. And you don't really have any damage mitigation here. It's Clear Amulet, so Incineroar's not going to come into play. It's Terrafire, so you can't burn it. Very standard stuff. Very difficult mon to set up once the Trick Room goes up. The Electabuzz coming in here. The Smeagol obviously had to switch out. It was taunted. That's the the only real advantage you have here, but now you've got to get through another redirector, this time a very, very bulky one with a disruptive move pool as well.
Yes, what joy he can't decorate himself with the Smeargle. he can only hit me with regular Glacial Lance, which still look at the
was that a roll? Or
yes,
a
it was.
crit?
It was a roll.
No critical hit. That was
my only
just a roll.
that was my only ice resist, by the way, on the team, that Chiyu. So
now the horses +1, we're in a bit of trouble. This is one of those should have brought Incineroar moments. Volt switch to pick up the KO. 2 KOs, obviously repositioned back to the Smeagol. Presumably the Smeagol is slower than the Calyrex. Cali's probably got a bit of speed investment, so Dan can decorate it under Trick Room.
I think that's the idea, yes, is that he's not running Moody as well because he doesn't want a random speed boost to ruin his strategy. But yeah, the idea is to have a Smeagol that's slower than his Trick Room threats so that he can decorate them. But yeah, my... here we are, Mr. Piss, my defensive wall of a Jolly Max speed Groudon, the only mon that could likely tank a physical move, but it's Terra Grass, so I don't really have any options here other than Protect and Pray, because he has switched out his Feint mon, which is nice for me. If he had left the Electabuzz in, although he had to Volt Switch to finish off that Flutter Mane, he doesn't have any other attacks.
He went straight to Sash and reposition, and now he's got 2 big spread moves. You'd think that this +1 Glacial Lance would probably take the Walking Wake. The Groudon would be taking it, probably live it if it wasn't boosted, but unfortunately this might be a pretty quick game. And again, very out of character for you, the guy who is well known for playing games to timer. Not deliberately to intentionally troll or stall, just the style of teams you typically build, and we're seeing the exact opposite of that here today.
I think my best play style is probably the kind of bulky control team that lets me pivot around with less punishment from switching into better positioning. But I have been enjoying the kind of hyper offensive play style lately. It's a lot more fun at locals.
Back onto nicknames as well. Big Steppies. I have personally played against Big Steppies the Walking Wake some months ago, back when I was actually still playing, back in I think Regulation F.
Yeah, that would have been it. It was my regionals bring was Big Steppies the Walking Wake.
Love the name.
Yeah, thank you. It annoyingly gets misread as Big Stepsis more often than I would like, but
well, it's about to get big stepped on, I think.
I think so too. I have identified the bulkiest ice resist on my team, which is Terra Water on Walking Wake there.
Marginally bulkier than Chiyu.
But after a Hyper Voice, I don't think it's taking a +1 Glacial Lance from half, unfortunately.
Too many turns of Trick Room. We've got Freddy Fazbear on the field, reminding us of 5 turns in Trick Room. Very, very unusually quick game. This was quite a strange tournament. We've got you on this hyper offense team with signature Big Steppies. Alistair was playing hyper offense with a million choice
triple
items.
Choice team. I love that so much. That's so based.
How many of us have come to tournaments with a triple choice team, gone 0-5, but taken 1 KO in 1 game and felt great about it?
I mean, gone 0-5. I'm pretty sure back in Sword and Shield, Mark and I were rocking out with triple choice genies with Bando Lando.
True, one of you had to have had a win because you would have matched against each other in one of those rounds. So there was at least a 1-4 triple choice.
Look, we have
I'm pointing at the screen which nobody can see. Your like little profile icon. I remember I was there when you discovered that glitch and we took those screenshots. That was really funny. That was quite funny.
That is indeed Philippe's character's butt, which forever immortalized in my profile icon. I'm never allowed to take another photo for my profile.
Oh, me neither. I'm keeping my one of the decapitated mouse hold. I think a lot of our profile pictures at this point haven't been changed since the beginning of this generation, when we found silly glitches or funny locations and just went, that's the one.
Yeah. Dan locking in his 4 very quick. He knows the plan. He knows what what to bring to counter my team. I also knew going into tournament running this team that my matchups into Trick Room were fairly minimal if it was flanked by a mon with Fake Out or Follow Me, but I was okay with that.
It is what it is in these single restricted formats, really. There's no one best team or best restricted. It's kind of like a rock, paper, scissors effect. And you can throw a curveball into that with something like a Groudon. Rock, paper, scissors, what is it? Rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock.
That's the one.
You've got the lizard, which is the Groudon.
Lionel would hate it, but I could have put Imprisoned Trick Room on that Flutter Mane.
Shoulda, coulda, woulda, eh?
It was Focus Sash, Moonblast, Icy Wind, Taunt, Protect. So it was a more sort of a techie flutter anyway. I definitely think I could have sacrificed 2 of those moves for, or even just one for Trick Room on its own as like a sash mon being able to unset Trick Room if it had something next to it to pressure.
Oh, I'm liking this lead change up here. I mean, obviously Dan's doing Dan things. He's running Kali-I Trick Room. We all know how this is going to pan out. Lilligant, though, instead of Flutter Mane. Flutter Mane didn't really have much of an impact in the last game. What is your reason for bringing Lilligant here? What's it doing?
So it is Covert Cloak, which you wouldn't know based on the fact that he's apparently considering clicking Fake Out into it, but it is Covert Cloak Lilligant, so it is a mon which can't get... he seems to have noticed it on the team sheet.
He's read the team sheet, yeah.
Yep. Basically, it's a mon that can't get faked out, forcing him to either follow me or fake out the other slot, and it lets me Sleep Powder or threaten something with an offensive move. I hilariously do also have the option to entrain Chlorophyll onto one of his Trick Room mons if he lets me, so I can then set Sun and make it not a slow Pokemon. But I'm not sure how much that would have helped against my team featuring Jolly Max Speed Groudon hitting 156, being the slowest mon on my team.
I'm not sure that you'd be allowed to get away with it either, because once again, you need to neutralize the Smeagol, and we saw last game, Dan just switched it out. He's got a pivot to bring it back in.
All I would have needed was Urshi Rapid plus a mon with Fake Out, and like Surging Strikes could get through the Smeagol. Though Dan did have Farigiraf, so he can block Fake Out. And there is also Scarf Ape access. He's got a lot of different options to pressure teams.
Yes, I quite enjoy the Scarf Gambit Trick Room support. Just getting yourself that free switch immediately instead of having to be stuck with your support on the field and trying to figure out where to put it, what to do with it.
Cute little Sleep Powder miss there, as the second and final time I clicked that move on the day, because I missed it the first time and then I missed it that time, and so I decided to just click Entrainment, Chlorophyll, or Ice Spinner, or Close Combat for the rest of the day. And honestly, Sleep Powder was only on there as a team sheet move anyway, to make my opponent think about it.
It's kind of just a given, isn't it? You threaten the Lilligant lead, your opponent has to respect the possibility of Sleep Powder. Are they going to protect? Are they going to follow me? Are they going to taunt? A lot of the time you just don't need... In this matchup, we saw what happened when you taunted the Smeagol with the Flutter Mane. Even if Sleep Powder had have landed, you're still in the same predicament. But you've gone for a much earlier switch into the Groudon here.
Mr. Piss, it's Mr. Piss.
Unfortunately though, Smeagol is presently on the field on the Trick Room. And we can see that the Smeagol is indeed slower than the Calyrex.
Mr. Piss taking one Glacial Lance, one super effective move. Like, honestly, more than I was expecting, given there's no defensive investment in that Groudon. And we all know how stupid Cali-Ice is. But
yes.
Apparently with no investment, Groudon just 100 base HP, 140 base defense is enough to tank one of those hits.
It's easy to forget how bulky this mon is. We don't see it much these days, given the dominance it has had over the last three generations of restricted formats, but certainly a force to be reckoned with. Not when it's Terra Grass and there's an Ice Horse dominating, though.
Grass is possibly not the most advisable Terra for this particular matchup, but in a meta where Miraidon is running rampant, Groudon is always going to see some play, I think, just being such a stat stick of a ground type. You can definitely sit it in front of electric type mons like Miraidon, but I think most people choose opting to make their restricted these just absolute insane powerhouse mons that can...
There's the roll again. Oh, that was a crit this time.
We don't know which way that roll was in favor, but...
Suffice to say that the fish was in danger, regardless.
At this point, I think Baguley and I were just chatting shit, knowing the outcome of this match was a foregone conclusion. A little unfortunate for me that this was my one game that got on the stream, but I took the team to 2-2 6th place in the end. I was quite happy with that. It's the top 2-2.
I don't think it's that unfortunate. If you were playing one of your previous teams that you're more well known for, this would probably be about an hour and a half long. And I think a lot of the spectators would rather see a shorter game rather than a long drawn out one, even though some of the longer games can be some of the most technical and exciting. As a spectator, there's a certain point in time when you just need to get up, have a drink, take a bathroom break, not have to write down 247 turns worth of data to know where we're at in the match.
For these small tournaments, bringing the fun quick techie teams is definitely the most fun thing to do. But I will say for the cup, I am bringing Kali Ice, Tinglu, Indeedee Female, Rillaboom, Insin, and Pelipper. So look forward to that, whoever's listening.
Crazy thing is, we have a +1 million Calyrex Ice here, and there is no reason for it. But Dan just didn't. There was no other move Dan really needed to click in this position. It almost looks like BM, but
yeah, there is.
It was just what else is he going to do?
I believe there's still 2 turns of Trick Room up. If Dan uses the Y menu, we will get to see which spoilers. He will at this point.
There it is.
Just to,
plus
to
6
show off the +6.
And the capture taken as well. There's the screenshot too.
Of course.
Forever immortalized.
Yeah, you've got to.
He didn't even get to +6 special attack though. What a loser.
Hey, he can do it this turn. But Fluttermane switching in here. It is a Sashmon switching in on the last turn of Trick Room. I can protect and get out of Trick Room. But without having a spread move, there's not really any way around the Follow Me, Smeargle, and Kali Ice resetting Trick Room because I only had Moonblast on that Flutter. So I managed to stall my way through 1 Trick Room at the end, but at what cost?
Well, that was an entertaining match. Thank you very much for the insights. It was great to hear your thoughts going in, your team, the matchup. Unfortunately, it didn't go in your favor. But
that's alright, it was a good day anyway.
That's the game we play.
Yeah.
There it is. We said it. We did it.
It's a pleasure to be here, and thanks to Robeson for recording these matches. It's great being able to bring a bit more joy and insight into these fun tournaments that we get to do.
It absolutely is. And with that,
see you for round 3.
Yeah, see you later. See you for round 3, which we've already recorded. S-Dog over and out.